Welcome to the session today dedicated to formulation for healthy nutrition, formulating healthy snacks in particular. And healthy nutrition is a topic very close to our hearts at Univar Solutions, as we're focusing on bringing new ingredients and solutions to the formulating tables worldwide. And I'm delighted today to be joined by my colleague, Melissa Kocetepe. Melissa is based in Turkey, Istanbul, where we have one of our flagship Univar Solutions food ingredients test kitchens. Melissa is a food engineering specialist with wide expertise in snacks, starch-based applications, bakery, plant-based foods, sauces, and dressing. So welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Natalia. It's a pleasure to be presenting today.
Thank you very much. So let's get started. Formulating for mindful nutritionists. Consumers, we believe, have become mindful nutritionists, educating themselves on what they need for health and what the nutrient density and functionality of their foods need to be. They routinely scrutinize ingredient lists and educate themselves on risks such as, for instance, acrylamide. Product safety, quality, traceability matter like never before. And self-care in all its guises, from supporting mental health to improving the way we look and therefore feel, is a trend that's gaining more importance for the health-conscious consumers and will continue to guide purchasing choices. Formulating for this new generation of health-conscious consumers sounds and is challenging. And we hope that today's session will help formulators, purchasers, marketeers, and brand owners alike to advance innovation for stronger consumer choice in healthy snacks.
Indeed, healthy nutrition presents an opportunity for the development teams looking to deliver indulgence and support consumer self-care needs and enhance the nutrient density, and at the same time offer products that are low in fat, salt, and sugar. Today, I'm delighted to be representing Univar Solutions technical development team across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We look forward to discussing your specific formulation needs, briefs, and helping you to launch commercial successful products.
Thank you, Melissa. And don't we all just love a snack? Whether it's trail mixes, popcorn, crackers, crisps, right through to chocolate, confectionery, and snack bars. But all of them rarely tick the healthy eating box. But we feel maybe they can. And this is the big challenge with snacks in general. But as a more mindful approach to nutrition emerges, self-care becomes an increasingly important factor. And snacks need to deliver on health as much as they do on indulgence. The 2022, this year, snack market is forecast to see an annual growth of 4.16% by 2027, over the next 5 years. But according to Euromonitor, the global health and wellness snacks subsector is forecast to grow even faster, at close to 6% annual growth up to 2025, reaching in total $98 billion by the end of this period. Why such a growth? What sustains it? Natural ingredients, added nutrients, diet-friendly and plant-based solutions top the lists for healthy snacks. When it comes to today's consumers, balance is key, with almost 40% saying that their diet is a mix of healthy and not so healthy eating. And another 60% also agree that indulgence is permissible in a healthy diet. Now, I personally can relate to that. But nearly half of consumers say that they're purchasing more healthy foods today than they were perhaps a year ago. And this is set to continue. They want to eat better. They're trying, and snacks producers have a significant opportunity in front of them. In addition to the overall global healthy snacking growth prediction and the regulatory pressure on reformulation across Europe, the change in consumer behavior creates the opportunity in the healthy snack arena. And this shows the real commercial benefits of hitting those reformulation targets. So many different aspects to focus on, Melissa, isn't there? So where shall we focus?
Thank you, Natalia. Reformulation is not a defensive strategy. Rather, it is the opportunity to build a stronger brand while meeting the increasing demand towards healthier options. So, this can be done through so many different points, some of which you are seeing on the screen here, as well as clean label, vitamins, and mineral fortification, natural flavor profile, all of which is in equal measures exciting and challenging to a formulator.
Absolutely. Yes. And what about with regulatory advertising labeling pressures?
With the regulatory advertising and labeling pressures, it is no surprise to see the growth rate of healthier options at almost 40%, greater than the snack market as a whole. So let's start with just two topics driven by both legislation, current and upcoming, and customer awareness: the reduction in fat, sugar, salt, and acrylamide. Firstly, the new HFSS legislation in United Kingdom, which stands for high in fat, sugar, and salt. This new legislation will restrict price promotions and product placement in stores, both on TV and online advertisements for HFSS products. The intention behind this new legislation is to make the healthier option the easiest option for the British public. And from a product perspective, brands are facing difficult questions about how to evolve in this new universe. This is harder for indulgent brands like chocolates, crisps, and treats, as brand owners must now decide whether to innovate and risk sacrificing on taste, or stay the same and deliver on what their customers originally bought into. And secondly, the Nutri-Score system, which is becoming more and more widespread in EU countries, is based on increasing the customer awareness towards the product they are about to consume. Denoting the nutritional quality of the food and beverages with a color code greatly helps consumers to compare and choose the healthier option, and or in the end end up with a healthier shopping basket. Both of these encourage food makers to improve their recipes and become healthier, and eventually become more accessible and attractive.
Absolutely. And it is this cost efficiency is so important for the healthy eating, isn't it?
Yes.
So let's look at the salt and sodium reduction strategies in particular, health by stealth, as we call it. So many salt reduction targets were achieved by incremental reduction, down to the functional minimum, and largely without consumers even noticing. One of the studies conducted in the UK back in 2020, 2 years ago by now, showed that between 2003 to 2018, for 15 years, overall salt intake reduced from 9.38 grams per day to 8.38 grams per day. That's a reduction of 1 gram per day, quite significant. But this was through a combined strategy of reformulation and public awareness. Even those numbers are high. The average adult intake of salt is still between 9 to 12 grams, which is almost double the World Health Organization target of 5 grams per day. And when we think about that snacking can be found to contribute around 20% of an average adult category intake, it must be considered as a category of concern for salt consumption. Melissa, in terms of the salt reduction targets, what can we do with formulation strategies?
Thank you, Natalia. To achieve the next level of sodium reduction targets, replacement strategies are focusing on low or no sodium alternatives, or taste modulation strategies to enhance savory and umami characteristics. Stevia, for example, from Pure Circle, is well known for its sweeter tasting profile and natural credentials, and has recently emerged as an effective solution in salt reduction by exploiting its taste modulation functionality. For the products in which stevia is not allowed, we can also offer NSF solutions, which stands for natural stevia flavoring, and can help you to reduce the salt content in your food.
Thank you. And sugar, our next topic, presents a different challenge but of equal magnitude. The WHO recommends that the intake of free sugars should be less than 10% of the total energy intake, and preferably below 5% of the total energy intake in both adults and children. But as consumers, we want it all. We're looking for lower sugar, lower calorie alternatives that give us the indulgent experience of our favorite treats and without the guilt. And this is why when reducing and replacing sugar in your formulations, it is essential that you don't compromise on taste, texture, or functionality. So we need to develop a sweetener solution that provides functional build-back, delivers similar textural and functional properties, so that your products provide the same great eating experience that makes them stand out.
Yes, you are right about it. Consumers are increasingly expecting the reformulation of sugar-rich products to be healthier, and it is the main driver of change in food and beverage industry. And this can be partly achieved through the selection of right sweeteners to provide the sensory appeal to sweet snacks. But sugar also plays a key role in product texture and structure. So it is rarely possible to simply replace the sugar with just one single ingredient, and structural components also need to be employed. And when we are doing this, clean labels must not be overlooked when we are undertaking these changes. And it is inevitable that the additional necessary ingredients will make their way onto the ingredient declaration. So alternative sweetening ingredients such as stevia are well established alongside the sugar alcohols, which allows the replacement of some bulk characteristics of sugar while reducing the calories by up to 50%. Erythritol, for instance, Erysta by ingredient, is a naturally occurring polyol, and it only contains 6% of the calories of sugar. And another option to replace the bulk characteristics of sugar is to use soluble fibers, which provides textural and structural benefits. And depending on the grade that has been used, it may also contribute to taste and enhance the sweeter taste. And last but not least, for the products in which stevia is not allowed, we can also offer NSF solutions for sugar reduction purposes.
Absolutely. And what Melissa is now telling us, this is just a snapshot of our such wide portfolio of ingredients and solutions. A lot of them are project bespoke, aren't they? So we really need to be engaging with yourselves. Reach out to us, to Melissa. All of the expertise will really be in good stead to really formulate the product that will be successful in your local market. Now talking about fat reduction strategies, that can also be a complex task for the formulators. And finding healthier ways to satisfy consumers' cravings for both sweet and savory snacks, and even their demand for products with less intimidating ingredient labels, is easy to do, or easier to do, with fat reduction ingredients, creating health-focused, label-friendly additions to your product range that your customers will come back to again and again. Melissa, what are the fat reduction formulation strategies that you would like just to highlight today?
Thank you, Natalia. And actually, it is very similar to what we discussed in sugar reduction. Like sugar reduction, fat reduction also can be a very complicated in snack applications, because fats contribute to texture, mouthfeel, structure, moisture perception. And when we are doing reductions or replacements, we should also meet the sensory criteria, and we should mimic the texture and melt away characteristics of fats. And to do this, we have a range of starches, functional dextrins and maltodextrins, that has been specifically developed as a fat reduction solution in biscuits and bars. And the level of reduction varies from 20% to 70%, and it is totally depend on the application and formulation. It is also possible to mimic the taste of fat or butter by using special flavorings developed for this purpose. And in addition to the obvious health benefits of fat reduction, the use of recommended replacement combination may provide some cost advantage in reformulations without a negative impact on eating quality.
Absolutely. The cost advantage is quite important when formulating for that. Yeah.
And in some cases, rather than reducing the fat amount, some formulators may prefer to switch to a healthier oil in their formulation in order to reduce the amount of trans or saturated fats. And healthy oils with less saturated fat often present a challenge of faster development of some off aromas, especially in conditions such as frying. And antioxidants, for instance, from Calsec, can be effectively used to protect fried snacks like crisps and chips against oxidation and result in an enhanced shelf appeal through increased color stability and improved shelf life by making it more stable to oxidation. And this also leads to a reduction in food waste, and it can actually help producers to achieve their sustainability goals.
Absolutely. It's better for me, better for the planet. This has never been so timely as for the mindful nutritionists now who we are talking about. This is fascinating topics in terms of the formulation. So I do hope that our listeners, our visitors of this session will join us for the Q&A session just straight after, because let's engage, let's innovate together. So many different topics to be discussed. Snacks enriched. So what are we talking about here? This is fiber enrichment. This is protein enrichment. And you will recognize it's such a on-point topic right now. From fiber to protein and beyond, better for you shoppers, we're talking still about better for you shoppers, often want products that provide some sort of health benefit. But that said, not all consumers are seeking out those ingredients for identical health goals. These health goals may be different. For example, some may be looking for gut health in a higher fiber product, while others would be seeking digestive wellness. But it is exciting that the ingredients and solutions are available which offer kind of snack-friendly nutritional options appropriate for a wide variety of applications. And Melissa now will highlight just some from our portfolio. But let me, before Melissa takes over talking about formulations, I just want to touch upon the positive nutrition through nutrient density in the cereals and snack bars. Now, this category, I would argue, have become synonymous with positive health contributions and are definitely one of the fastest growing segments in sport and healthy lifestyle nutrition, so much wider than just sports nutrition. And significant opportunity exists to move the needle on combining indulgence with positive nutrition, such as protein and fiber enrichment, whilst maintaining a lower sugar profile. And the industry, all of us in the industry, have a remarkable opportunity to increase the protein intake of older adults in particular, as protein enrichment of familiar foods and drinks, including snacks, might be an effective and attractive alternative for oral nutritional supplements, if required. So, Melissa, take us through some of the formulations here. What are the options?
Certain ingredients can provide some really exciting double benefits, actually. For example, as we mentioned earlier, using soluble fibers such as fruit oligosaccharides not only helps sweetness and mouthfeel, but also increases the fiber content of the product, and it promotes the growth of healthy bacteria in the gut, and in the end have a positive impact on overall health. And the body and the mouthfeel that these fibers provide can also be used to successfully replace sugar or fat in the formulations. And there is an opportunity to widen the appeal of the product by looking at the free-from possibilities, such as exchanging dairy components to vegan alternatives, or removing allergens by considering other protein sources, such as oats, pulses, or even wheat. And while doing this, it is also possible to maintain the taste of the product by selecting deflavored grades, or minimizing the color change by selecting a protein source which has more neutral color.
Thank you. And isn't it just a fascinating topic? And it's growing and growing, the innovation, the opportunities, the possibilities in this particular area. And I would really encourage the visitors to today's session to check out the Wellness Academy that we, Univar Solutions, are so proud of. It has got a wealth of information. It has got a plethora of educational topics, as well as hints and tips. Anything you need, it is there. So do check out Wellness Academy by Univar Solutions. Now, going back to the one of the topics that we have started talking about a bit earlier on in the presentation, acrylamide reduction. And I'm sure you have looked at that and you have started considering the options here. Why? Because it is a fantastic chance to build consumer loyalty and future-proof your products. We truly believe that we should be seeing this not necessarily as a challenge, but as a great opportunity to really get the much bigger, much higher market share through the consumer loyalty. And more consumers are becoming aware of the potential risks of acrylamide in food, which is partly as a result of the increase in legislative activity around acrylamide and the media coverage in it as well. The European Union recently has broadened the list of baked goods to be monitored. So now this full list includes not just a really wide range of bakery products, but also the typical snacks products such as tortillas, churros, and crisps. And a proposed change to EU legislation on acrylamide would introduce maximum acrylamide limits across countries in the Union. So if your product exceeds those limits, it is likely that you will have to stop marketing them, stop advertising them, or even more, that they could even be recalled. And the legislation is predicted to impact European consumer awareness of acrylamide. As the proposed legislation creates media interest around the topic, consumer interest will grow. The media has been really hot on this topic, quite rightly so, and consumers are picking up, they're becoming increasingly aware of the acrylamide levels in the foods that they are purchasing. And there is also growing consumer interest in transparency of food production. So we are no longer seeing this as somebody else's business. Let someone else check the transparency where the food is coming from. So health-conscious, highly engaged consumers will continue to control the narrative around acrylamide levels. So is this a challenge or is it an opportunity? At first glance, this appears to be a challenge, but we would argue that it could be a great opportunity for your business. A recent study showed that less than half of European consumers trust food manufacturers, less than half, and want manufacturers to respond better to changing expectations. And it is this transparency in response to consumer questions and understanding of the issues at the heart of the pending legislation could really win consumer trust, which ultimately will translate into market share. And by moving early to reduce the acrylamide levels in your product range, companies would have future-proofed their products against legislative and consumer pressure, so preemptive approach, and against losing access to retailers' shelves, against their competition taking a big market share. And some major EU retailers have already implemented this change and are successfully applying the EU limits already. And Melissa will now share with you the information of one of our favorite products in development. Not just it's great to formulate, to manufacture with. Once you start using this product, you do not even need to adapt your manufacturing equipment at all. So what are the products?
Thank you, Natalia. Before proceeding to acrylamide, let's just mention the importance of public awareness. Some snacks like potato chips, biscuits, and crackers are susceptible to acrylamide formation due to their formulation and process conditions. This potential risk finds its way on the media as well, and customers are becoming more and more aware of it. For instance, here are just two examples. First one is from UK. An independent report showed that nearly 1 in every 5 bags of potato crisp sold in the market have potentially unsafe levels of acrylamide inside. And the second one is from Norway. A potato crisp producer, again, is needing to respond to publicized acrylamide measurements by local food authorities that were above the benchmark levels. Both of these examples show that there is a pressure on the food manufacturers to lower the acrylamide levels in their snacks or take the necessary precautions to prevent this. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
And in order to meet the expectations around this acrylamide issue, an enzyme from Novozymes named Acrylamide can be used. As Natalia said earlier, it is very easy to apply and it doesn't have to have a negative impact on taste or appearance of the product. And by using this enzyme and by moving early to reduce the acrylamide levels, companies would have future-proofed their products and against legislative and consumer pressure, and of course against losing their access to retailer shelves.
Thank you. So yes, once we talk about acrylamide reduction, it very closely relates to free from. And let's talk about gluten-free snacks. As a subcategory, I'm sure you will agree with me that the gluten-free snacks have reached a new level of innovation in terms of nutritional profile, variety, taste, as consumer interest in gluten-free products have really exponentially transformed the category from what used to be a niche to a proper mainstream market segment. I'm sure we're all seeing an exponential growth of gluten-free product range in stores near us, I'm sure.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And producing gluten-free snack products, we noticed some technical challenges, but solutions are, of course, available. For instance, highly functional gluten-free starch systems allow manufacturers to easily create high-quality gluten-free snacks at an affordable cost. And meanwhile, they increase the protein and fiber content of their product while improving the eating quality and texture. And they, of course, ensure consistency and processability during production.
That's excellent. Once again, affordability is so important when formulating for healthy snacks. There is no moving away from that, especially in nowadays climate. When it is the same across Europe, Middle East, Africa, and wider field. Thank you, Melissa, for bringing that.
And we have discussed just some of the aspects of formulating commercially successful products. For the new generation mindful nutritionists, we have plenty of other solutions actually to offer for the producers who are aiming to reformulate their snack recipes. For instance, many biscuit customers are also keen to replace SMS in their recipes. And we have an enzyme solution named Sensia Biscuit from Novozymes that allows food SMS replacement. Or we can help producers to achieve a shorter ingredient list with less artificial additives simply by switching to functional clean label alternatives.
Absolutely, and clean label is a completely different topic. So I do hope that we get to discuss that during our Q&A. There is a lot to talk about there. Overall, formulating for healthy snacks, nutritional profile is so important, but taste remains king. And when products are changed, the consumers need to be brought on this journey. It's not enough to say that it is new and improved. The product really needs to deliver what the consumer expects and wants. But isn't it an exciting journey to be in? It is enabling that all-important consumer choice and quality of healthy nutrition is what really fuels our passion here at Univar Solutions. And that is really the focus of our efforts to bring quality, efficient solutions and options for food and beverage manufacturers. So let's innovate together.